Class, I welcome you all to this session. This session we are going to discuss problem number 45. E and F were partners in a firm sharing profits and in the ratio 3:1. They admitted G as a new partner on 1st April 2017 for 1/3 share. It was decided that E, F and G will share future profits equally. G brought 50,000 in cash and machinery worth 70,000 for his share of profit as premium of goodwill. Pass necessary journal entry in the books of the firm. Now, in this question, we have to first calculate the sacrificing ratio. Then, what is the share of goodwill of G, and we have to journalize. So this is how this problem needs to be done. So I'm just going to start workings. Problem number 45. Okay, so first is the old ratio. What is the old ratio? 3:1. New ratio is going to be 1:1:1 equally. Now the sacrificing ratio is going to be old ratio minus new ratio. Now for E, it's going to be 3 divided by 4 minus 1 divided by 3. Now in this case, you need to just multiply because the denominators are not common. So 3 3s are 9 minus 4 divided by 12. So in this case, 5 divided by 12. Similarly for F, it is 1/4 minus 1/3, which is 3 minus 4 divided by 12. So minus 1/12. So which means F is gaining, E is sacrificing. Okay. So the second working note, this is working note 1. The second working note is going to be F's share of gain in goodwill. F share of gain in goodwill. So G's share goodwill is equal to 50,000 plus 70,000. G has brought 50,000 in cash and machinery worth 70,000 for a share of profits as premium of goodwill. So it's going to be 1,20,000. Next, goodwill of the firm on the basis of G's share. It's going to be 1,20,000 into 3/1. So total share of goodwill. Okay, so it's going to be 3,60,000. Now F share of goodwill 3,60,000 into 1/12. Okay, because 1/12 is the gaining share. So we are getting 30,000 here. So with this, we are going to prepare the journal entry. So I just prepare it here. So the journal entry is going to be G has brought cash as well as machinery. So cash account debit, machinery account 70,000 to premium for goodwill account. So it's going to be 1,20,000. Okay, and then this is the first entry. This is being cash and machinery brought in by G for his share of premium. So the first entry is over. The second entry is going to be premium for goodwill account debit to E's capital account, because being G share of goodwill transferred to E's capital account. So premium for goodwill account debit to E's capital account, because E is only the sacrificing partner. So G has to compensate only E. F is a gaining partner, so no compensation needed. Next is gaining partner share. So being F share of gain in goodwill charged for his capital, from his capital transferred to E's capital. So third entry is going to be F's capital account debit to E's capital account. It's going to be 30,000. Okay, so this is how you're supposed to do it. So this narration would be being F's share of gain in goodwill charged from his capital and transferred to E's capital. So that will be the narration for this. So we have completed this problem. The next problem is 51st problem. X and Y are partners in a firm, sharing profits in the ratio of 3:2. They admitted Z as a new partner for 1/4 share. At the time of admission of Z, stock book value 1 lakh is to be reduced by 40% and furniture book value 60,000 is to be reduced to 40%. Pass the necessary journal entry. So I'm going to take a fresh page. Problem number, it's under revaluation of assets and reassessment of liabilities. Okay, so under this, problem number 51, we are supposed to write the journal entry. So what is the problem says? See, it is saying that stock book value is 1 lakh, but it is to be reduced to the extent of 40%. So stock, which turns out to be 40,000, and you have furniture which has a book value of 60,000 to be reduced to the extent of 40%. So it comes to 36,000. So it is a reduction, so it's a loss. So the journal entry would be revaluation account debit to stock account to furniture account. Okay, so it's a 76,000. This is 40,000 and 36,000. The next entry, being value of assets decreased, that will be the narration. Being value of assets decreased. So first journal entry is over. The second journal entry would be X capital account debit, Y's capital account debit. So this 76,000 to revaluation account. So being loss on revaluation account transferred to X and Y's capital account. So in their ratio is 3:2. So if we do 3:2, we are getting 45,600 and 30,400. Being loss transferred to partners capital account. Okay, so this is the entry that we are supposed to do. The next one, what we are going to do is a little slightly different. So this is how you do this type of problems. So we are going to do the next problem, 55th problem. At the time of admission of new partner C, the assets and liabilities of A and B were revalued as follows. A provision for doubtful debts at 10% was made on sundry debtors. Sundry debtors is 50,000. Then creditors were written back by 5,000. Creditors were written back by 5,000. Okay, then it is liabilities reduced. This is liability increased. Then building was appreciated by 20%. Book value of the building rupees 2 lakhs. So asset has appreciated. Okay, so we need to it's a revaluation gain. This is a we need to check whether it is a gain or a loss. Okay, so unrecorded investment were worth 15,000. So it is an investment, it's an asset increase. A provision of 2,000 was made for an outstanding bills for repairs. So it is a liability increase. Then unrecorded liability towards suppliers was 3,000. So liability increase. Pass necessary journal entry. So this is the question. So I'm going to start the problem. 55th problem. 55th problem. So first one is going to be items that needs to be debited. Creditors, it's a liability decrease. Similarly, building, it is an asset increase. Then investment, it's an asset increase. Okay, so these things are all to be debited because you have to write to revaluation account, because revaluation it's a gain. Similarly, you have provision for doubtful debts, which is a liability increase. Then reserve for repairs, which is $2,000 provision for outstanding bills for repair. So liability increase. And then creditors. There's one more creditors, liability unrecorded. So liability increase. So these are all to be credited because revaluation has to be debited. So we are going to start the journal entry. The first journal entry would be creditors account debit, building account debit, investment account debit to revaluation account 5,000, 40,000, 15,000, 60,000. First entry over. Being increase in asset and decrease in liability transferred to revaluation account. The narration for this I am repeating. Being increase in assets and decrease in liabilities transferred to revaluation account. The second entry will be revaluation account debit to provision for doubtful debts to reserve for outstanding repairs bill account to creditors. So provision for doubtful debts is 5,000. Then reserve for outstanding repair bill is 2,000 and creditors is 3,000. So total 10,000. So the second entry is also over. The narration for the second entry. The narration for the second entry is being increase in liability, decrease in assets and reserves and provisions created, transferred to revaluation account. I am repeating, being increase in liabilities, decrease in assets and reserves and provisions created, transferred to revaluation account. So finally we need to write the revaluation, transfer to partners capital account. So there is at the time of admission C, they have just given C, they have not given what is the old ratio or anything. So we're just going to write it this way. So revaluation account debit to old partners capital account. This is 50,000 and this is 50,000. Okay, so this is how you complete the problem. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you, class.